Welcome back to Inside Boxing's Throwdown. My name is Steve Johnson, Aurelio Martinez. We ended the first episode of this today's segment talking about the 4 factors that judges should use in scoring a bout. Aurelio, you were adamant about what those 4 are. Why don't you mention those again and how they pertain to this fight?
Exactly, and it's like you said, it's the 4 factors they should use, but it's actually the 4 factors that they're supposed to use according to the rules.
Okay.
That's the only thing that's the only thing judges need to use to do that. Let's go back to the 4 factors real quick. To bring everyone up to date. The 4 factors were clean punching, effective aggressiveness, ring generalship, and defense.
Okay.
4 factors that they use to score the judge. Nothing else. Okay. So let's go one by one, just so we can clarify exactly what each one is. Okay. Clean punching. Clean punching. Clean punches are punches that land on the face and the side of the head and the front side of the torso. So basically what it is, clean punches from the waist up, the navel up to the head, face forward in the front. Okay. Right. Split an imaginary line right down the middle of your body, and everything in the front.
That all scores.
Is scoring punches, clean punches. So that's a clean punch, okay? That's what they're looking at.
Okay.
Effective aggressiveness, okay? A boxer demonstrates this trait when he consistently and successfully moves forward in a controlled manner. Okay? So basically, if a guy's moving forward and he's being effective in making contact and scoring, that's effective aggressiveness. Not chasing, following someone all around the ring. Okay, so we got that. Ring generalship, I'm gonna say for last because no one don't know what that is. Okay, defense. Everybody knows what defense. Boxers that skillfully incorporate defensive maneuvers receive credit in this area. So basically, if you make a guy miss, make him pay. Counter and stuff like you're doing good defensive maneuvers. Okay? Basically not getting hit. Okay? That's your defense. Now let's go to ring generalship. Okay, because I think this is a void where most of the public really has no idea what ring generalship means in anything. Okay? Ring generalship. The judges favor the fighter who controls the pace and style of the bout. Okay? Now let's read that again. The judges favor the fighters who controls the pace and style of the bout. Okay. In other words, the fighter that's fighting his fight. Okay. The fighters that's making the fight in his favor, that's fighting his fight and taking away the other fighter's game. Okay. So if you got a fighter that's a mobile fighter that's moving using angles and he's being effective with that and moving, he has good ring generalship. Okay, if you got it, that's an aggressive fighter that's coming forward and he likes to bang and bang. Well, if he's doing that effectively in the ring where he's making you miss and he's coming in and he's effectively hitting you with his power shots and stuff, that's good ring generalship. Okay? So that's it. Now, if you take this fight and you look at this criteria that's on the use, okay, if you rewatch the fight using this criteria, now watch the fight as a judge now, not as a fan. Okay? Fighter A and fighter B. Okay, not your favorite Canelo. Okay, fighter A and fighter B. Okay, and you watch the fight again, you will see that this fight was indeed a very close fight. And the way I scored it, Cotto came winning. Okay, if you scored the fight with Canelo winning by 1 round or 2 rounds, no one's going to argue that. There was some rounds in there that were very close and extremely difficult to score according to this.
True.
So basically, if you do that, you'll see that it wasn't just an automatic win for Canelo. Okay. So talking about this, if you use this, I want to talk about the influence that the commentators and stuff have. Okay.
Well, wait a minute, let me back up.
Okay, go ahead.
When we talk about the influence of the commentators, see, when you're there and you watch the fight live, and then over the years, one of the things that we have done together is you watch the fight live and then you come back and you watch the replay. You've got your first perception of the fight. We've always watched it 2 other times after that. One as a fan of one boxer, one as a fan of the other boxer. So you've got 3 different perspectives, and that's what we used in this fight Saturday night to come to our conclusion. The problem that we have is that you still you know, you still like to listen to that. I told you many times, we need to turn that volume off. All you fans, you need to turn the volume off when the fight is on. You don't need to hear Roy Jones, Max Kellerman, and especially now, you know, when we got to listen to the replay and you watch this damn what's the guy that judges the referees and Letterman, Harold Letterman. Harold Letterman now thinks that it's his job to tell you to critique the referees.
Yeah.
I mean the judges. I'm sorry. He tells you, well, this judge here, I didn't like the score that he had in this fight, and this is all bullshit. You don't need to hear from him. No. Roy Jones and Max Kellerman do what they do. Okay, so if you really want to enjoy the fight, you got to turn the volume off, and that's the thing. Now let me get to this. Okay, you said that when you used all four of the criteria that the judges should use in scoring a fight,
what they have to use.
What they have to use.
Yeah.
And I'm saying should because. If
they don't always understand that.
Well, what I'm saying is, if what you say is true, and it is true what you say, but I'm saying the scores of 117 to 111, 119 to 109, and 118 to 110, all in favor of Canelo Alvarez, are ridiculous.
Absurd.
And more than absurd.
They're false.
They're just an out-and-out lie. And everyone that watched the fight, I think if one general thing that everybody that watched the fight will say, whether you were there or you saw it on pay-per-view, everyone says that the scores were just ridiculous. Because I had the fight 115 to 113 in favor of Canelo. And I'm using your own criteria. I thought that once the bell rang and we saw this fight start, it was so obvious that Canelo was just the larger man.
It's the bigger.
And so right off the bat, you figure Cotto's going to have to box. Mm-hmm. And we knew he was going to have to box him anyway, because I still contend that that's the way you beat Canelo, is the boxing, unless you're just a big, strong power puncher like Triple G, which we'll get into our next episode. But for right now, talking about this fight, I just thought that, you know, I still say it's the man who can impose his will. And I think that
Miguel
Cotto was never able to impose his will on Canelo. He had his moments, like you said, where, you know, he was able to move and made a couple of times he made Canelo look like an amateur with his swings, you know, just totally missing, just
Canelo was missing,
air, you know. But that's because that's not him. He's the guy that, you know, that wants to fight.
He wants to bang.
And so a boxer is always going to have a little bit of an edge on him. I don't think you can take that away from him. I don't think you can take that away from him because he was bigger. Like I said, Miguel Cotto was on the move because he had to be on the move. He could not stand there. Yeah. There's no way he could stand there and fight with him. So my contention is that I think, you know, regardless of what those judges had, I had it being a good, close fight. I actually saw this morning where Marco Antonio Barrera and Juan Manuel Marquez Sr. both said that they thought that easily that Miguel Cotto won the fight. And I found that, you know, really strange to have two legendary Mexican boxers come out and say that the Puerto Rican clearly won the fight.
Well, these guys know the game. They know the game.
But let me say this. I understand that feeling of them, but Miguel Cotto has never said that he thought he won the fight. So I'm
He never said he lost it either.
But no, if you thought you won the fight, you're gonna say I thought I won the fight. So I still have problems with that. But
that's Miguel Cotto. And why get up there and look like sour grapes? I mean, you just there's nothing you can do to change it. Okay, there's nothing you can do to change it. So it's done. It's over. It's history. Okay, and that's Miguel Cotto. That's his demeanor. Okay, yeah. But let me talk before we end the segment, because we're getting toward the end of the episode. And I'm glad you brought up Harold Letterman, because these terms and these things that got the public fooled and thinking that it's part of the criteria. I'm on the internet and I'm getting email from a lot of people. Some people calling me an idiot because I thought Cotto won and things like that. But that's fine. I love it, because fans are fans. Fans are fans, and I love it.
Fans search for fanatics.
And I love it. Okay. But let's get. That's why I wanted to bring out the rules and how you're supposed to judge, because way back when you get, I'm sure it was Harold Letterman that came out and said that effective punches was hard punches. Yeah. Okay, he had the hard punches. Let me tell you what, there's no way in heck that a strong, hard punch counts for any more than a solid jab or a 1-2 combination that doesn't carry the power. There's nowhere in the books that judges are supposed to say, well, that was a hard punch. It counts for 3 jabs, or that one hard punch counts for 6 soft punches. Get that out of your mind. Hard punches do not count for anything more than a scoring blow. Okay, so get that right out of your mind. And another thing is, you listen to the commentators, and this is good for Roy Jones Jr., where he brought this term. Okay. And now all of a sudden the whole boxing world, commentators, everyone just on this thing, and they just love this term, and they're all talking about check hook. What the hell's a check hook?
We talked about that for years.
That's just something that came out of Roy Jones' mouth. Oh, he just hit him with the check hook, and man, it sounded good, and now all of a sudden Bubble Eyes is on it, and everyone is on it, and now it's become a big term. But I'll tell you what, you give me a trainer, a legitimate trainer in any gym that's teaching his guy a check hook. You tell me what a check hook is.
Hey,
okay?
On that note, we're going to end this episode, and in our final episode, we're going to talk about what lies ahead now that the WBC has their boy in there. Canelo Alvarez has him as the WBC world middleweight champion. What lies ahead for him? We all know that involves Triple G, Gennady Golovkin.
The mandatory, absolutely.
We all know that involves him, and we'll get into that in our next episode. But as usual, ending this episode, in the meantime,
hold
keep
them
them
hands
up,
up,
baby.